Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Matt and it is Terrible Tuesday. I mean Terrifying Tuesday. I forgot that I switched it to Terrifying like a year ago. Every once in a while I bumble up and say terrible. But either way, it's Terrifying Tuesday. And I hope all of you guys are having a great morning, evening, dawn, day, or dusk because life really is too short as is. Please do like, share, and subscribe. I love seeing each and every one of you every Monday through Friday, permitting my schedule, and then, of course, major holidays. I do take off those times to be with the family and all that stuff, and I hope each and every one of you understand that. I'm sure you guys do. And then, of course, do me a huge favor and check out the description box. There's more information on the daily film, such as your brief synopsis, your starring cast, runtime of the cut I am watching, an MPAA rating if there is one that exists, which most of the time there is not, your director, some trivia if I find anything worthwhile of mentioning, and then of course a link for a trailer or a scene from the movie itself, which today is definitely a link for a trailer. This one is I would call a not middle rung, but a C level. It's not B level, but I would call it a C level slasher. But it is an absolute blast. There's three different cuts that I have on this one, and this is the one and only time I prefer the theatrical cut over anything else. It is none other than 1983's The Prey. Filmed in 1979 and not released until 1983, just to let you know. And this is the Arrow Video release, which the Arrow Video US release, by the way, because there is a region, I think it's region free anyways, but a UK release on this one. This one is the US release, which it does have. You got this interesting slip artwork, and then you got this one right here, which is from the newly commissioned artwork that they did for that UK release. And then you open it up, and there is a reversible artwork on top of that, which is the original artwork from the when it first came out. Which I'm going to switch it over to that one. I forgot to do that. I usually switch it over to the original covers because for some reason, I like those more. See, there you go. That's what the other cover looks like. I really like that. I think that's a very, very cool cover. But either way, let's get this bad boy back on there. Whoop. Alright, one of the very few times I actually like the slipcover too. I'm not usually the biggest fan on those. But as far as like special features that you got on this one is like stacked to the gills. You got interviews with each and every one of your female starring casts. You got a running commentary on there. You got other interviews. You got trailers. You got all kinds of goodies on goodies galore on this one. It is a definitive release of this. There is definitely nothing out there that can beat this one, because like I said, this is a 2-disc set, and it also comes with, it is not only the theatrical cut, it also has the extended international cut, which runs at like 97 minutes, and the theatrical cut runs at 80 minutes, and then there's the composite cut, which I have not watched that one. I imagine it is probably in between both of those on length, but either way, it could be longer too. But either way, it's got 3 different cuts on the film itself, so keep that in mind. It's kind of cool that they give you that much options for something that is, I would say, C level, something that I hadn't seen until about 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that. I've watched it 3 times now, and each time I like it a little more and more each time. It is not necessarily the best, though. There are lots of plot holes in this one. There's things that make no sense. There's things that I wish didn't happen, but did happen. But it does have everything that you could need for a standard issue slasher movie, 80s slasher movie on top of it. Now, exactly what is this movie about? It's about these 3 couples that go camping out in the middle of the woods, and they're going up to this place called Keene. What was it? North Keene, I believe is what they call it. But either way, they're going out to like really lots of wilderness, lots of stuff to look at. This movie it's like almost like a nature documentary in ways, because it has lots of nature shots, from animals to foliage, like the flowers and the trees, and then of course the mountains, and then every other thing you can look at off of the mountains. It is a very very well shot film. I absolutely love that about this. It is extremely well shot. That is probably its biggest the biggest thing that works for it in as far as a positive column goes. It is very nice. But back to what I was saying, these 3 couples, they're going camping out in these remote wilderness up in the mountains. They are met by a forest ranger as they are getting ready to go up into the mountains, and it's this nicer fellow. I forget what his name was exactly, the character's name, but he is a kind of a hipster in ways, for the times, because he's eating like cucumber and cream cheese sandwiches on oatmeal bread. He hangs out and tells goofy jokes like the wide mouth frog joke, which is absolutely just ridiculous and silly, but it works for it. It makes me laugh every time. It's basically a joke about a frog that smiles really big, and he calls himself the wide-mouthed frog. And the wide-mouthed frog goes along and sings, or asks all these different people, different animals, what they feed their babies, and then eventually he gets to the alligator, and alligator tells them he eats wide-mouthed frogs. One of those. It's just like a really bad, corny dad joke, but it absolutely works, and it makes me laugh every time. There is another joke about where another guy talks about how he just wants a good night's sleep. Another joke like that spawns off of a story. He's telling a story, and a tragic story, and then he just ends it with, "Oh, and you know what he wished for? The third night was some sleep," because it's a joke about a monkey's paw, one of those kind of things. So it shows you what kind of people you're dealing with. They're very down to earth, very I would say nice people. There's not a bad character that I noticed in the movie. I like each and every one of them. Even the villain I like. It has a very it's almost, I don't know what I would say this is, because there's really no nudity. There's a blip, like there's 2 little blips where you can kind of see something, but if you blink you're gonna miss it, one of those things. So it kind of is a little more wholesome than most slashers were, especially for the times, because a lot of those in the 80s will we have to admit it, folks, there was lots and lots and lots of TNA, and it was absolutely either a dream or an absolute nightmare when it came to that. that. But this one is kind of it's like I keep saying it's sea level, but it's a great sea level slasher. I feel like this is one I can show some of my friends and we could have a good time. It never really gets too. It has moments where it gets a little slow here and there. It is like after they get to the campsite, after they meet everyone, um, they're telling this terrible joke that I was telling you, and it gets very dramatically slow because there's not a whole lot going on as far as what you're seeing, and then you get to see the forest ranger play his banjo, like right around in the same period of them getting set up for the night and his evening, like what's going on with both their evenings because they are main characters. But they one of the couples gets picked off overnight, which is a rich boy and his girlfriend, as they called it, because she was mean and he was very passive. He did everything she said. One of those kind of ordeals, one of those couples. But either way, it picks up from there. You got them, each and every one of them, getting picked off one by one, and the two men are picked off in a very, very cool fashion. Honestly, everybody in the movie that gets killed is killed in kind of a fun fashion. You got a throat slashing. You got a guy falling off of a mountain. You got a guy getting basically picked up by his neck from behind and strangled. You got a somebody getting lassoed by their foot and plowing into a tree face first. You got some very interesting, fun kills in this movie. It doesn't fail to deliver the goods. If you understand where I'm going, it is very, very nice on that. And then eventually you got this ending that is kind of it's a good ending. It's a bitter, sour, kind of sweet ending. I absolutely like it. It involves one of the girls living in the creature, which is a giant guy. Like, he's a very, very tall man, bigger stature. Not too big though, but like a medium stature. Who is completely covered in burn scars from head to toe. Because there is a whole backstory of where he is a product of this giant forest fire that happened to take place right around in the same place where they are now camping and having a good time and doing all that stuff. It's just like 40 years later, 38 years, something like that. I can't remember the exact number, but either way, it was like 1949, 1950. I can't remember. But either way, it sets up a whole backstory with his character. If you watch that extended international cut, which is not director approved, by the way, the theatrical cut is director approved. There's a bigger backstory to him and how they're gypsies, which you get that in the theatrical cut, that they're gypsies, but they delve a little further into that with the extended international cut. It's really poorly done, and there's parts of that story, like there's a whole thing about rape and being burned, or how the fire starts. Take it or leave it. It adds 17 extra minutes to the runtime. Honestly, I think 80 minutes is perfect for this one. Now, as far as any kind of ratings would go on this one, on a technical side, I would say this is probably a 2 out of 5. There's little hiccups here and there, especially like I said, you watch that international cut. I watched that cut once. I watched that one today actually, and then I've watched the theatrical twice now. So that international cut, basing off that one, I would give it a 2. On the theatrical cut, I would give it a 2 as well. Only because, like I said, there are things that don't make sense. These corny jokes that happen, especially the wide mouth frog joke. It doesn't make sense being in there, but I'm happy that it is. Don't get me wrong, I am absolutely love that it's there. But it fails to deliver on a dramatic level. I feel like the acting is very stiff. It especially our monster, as they keep calling him. He's a monster. I wouldn't call him like our killer, whatever he is, but he is very lackluster when it comes to body language, to being a menacing type creature. It just he didn't really, like, he had the stature, the size all working out perfectly for him, but the as far as his body language in delivering a scare, it didn't really work as good as what it could have been. It could have easily bumped it up to that 3 level on a technical side if that worked a little more. Other than that, that's pretty good. On an entertainment side, this thing's probably a 3 out of 5. This is like a 5 out of 10 kind of slasher. It's not huge, not big. It's not small. It's right in the middle there, towards the bottom there somewhere. But it's not a bad movie, I would say, by any means. I would definitely recommend this to my slasher purists, people that want to see slashers, especially ones that are really off the beaten road that nobody talks about. Definitely check out The Prey, not to be confused with not to be confused with the movie called Prey. This is The Prey, because Prey is as far as I remember, it's an English film about aliens, fox-like aliens. That one was released by Vinegar Syndrome, by the way. There is a huge difference between those, and when you go to take a look to try to find a copy to buy this, which I got it off of Grindhouse. Last I checked, they still have copies of it, so you could get it from them. It is a little pricier. I believe it ran under, I think it was like $40 for this. It was not a cheap movie, but it, in my opinion, was worth it. Alright, guys, love each and every one of you. Tomorrow, I don't know exactly what I got lined up. Wednesday, Thursday, I'm kind of like up in the air on that one. But Friday, I definitely have a good movie for you. One that I absolutely loved and adored. I saw for the very first time last night. I'm going to try to watch it another 1 or possibly 2 times before I get to Friday for my review, because I liked it that much. It's that entertaining. Alright, guys. Peace as always.